This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, so welcome to day 3 of this JMeter session. Okay, and so as I told yesterday, there will be 3 days on discussing the core concepts, right? What happens, basically the endpoints, understanding HTTP protocol, right? So there are some notes are there on some PPT you can read, all right, um, later on. So hope you all know what a server is, right? Server is where the application is kept, right? And it's a combination of the hardware and software, right? Hardware part is there, and inside that software stuff is there. The application is kept. Any application, Flipkart, Amazon, right? So that is called server. In that, there are different types of servers are there. Okay, so that I've kept here. I'm not going to go that much in details about all this. Right, notes is there, you can read later. Then there is a protocol. What is protocol? Protocol is a way of communication between two devices or set of rules and guidelines. So how two devices or two different non-living thing, right? Basically the electronic stuff, communicate with each other. So that is what a protocol is, right? In terms of performance testing, the protocol is a set of guideline or rule to communicate between a client and a server. So client will be who? Client means a user. Okay, user. And the server is who? The server is that application, right? Application server where the application is kept, or you can say the application. Now there are different type of protocol that are there, like HTTP, FTP, SMTP, SNP, TCP, right? Out of which HTTP is very famous and it's very common. It's used everywhere in web, mobile, web services, microservices. Okay. Now we will discuss a little bit overview of PTLC lifecycle. So, like how we have software development lifecycle, software testing lifecycle, bug lifecycle. So, same way we have performance testing lifecycle. It's nothing but a set of steps that needs to be followed when we do anything, right? When we do any project, that is what is called lifecycle. It is not okay. Very simple. They are steps. Some steps we need to do in sequence, right? So first is NFR gathering and documentation. So what is that? NFR gathering and documentation means taking the inputs. It means that for whom you are going to work or for which project you are going to work, right? What is the application for which you are going to do the testing, correct? So we have to take some inputs from the senior level or who is going to assign the task from them, right? Basically, correct, for that application. So in that we there is a detailed list, right? So currently these few points which are there, okay. There is a PDF, you'll be getting it later on. A more a small 2 to 3 pages PDF is there. So these all the stuff you will be able to understand slowly, right? Because these things are done by senior level people, okay, not who has a much experience. So they collect this NFR or they talk uh, with with that client. We say here client means not user. Here client means on which project we are working. Okay, in very simple, uh, what will be there is like how many users you are going to test. Okay, the application architecture, um, which tools to use, POC scenarios, right? And many other things like response time, what concurrency thing, then throughput, what they expect or they say, right? Application blueprint, all these credentials, all those things are taken, right? It's like input for which application you are going to work. So we need to have some idea, right? That's what. So that is what gathering and documenting it. And again, as I said, senior fellows does this thing. It's very similar to we have in software testing, like functional testing is there, manual automation. There also we make a document. So this one is like that only, but their document is very big. This is not big NFR document. It's not that much complex also. For many projects, it's not required as well, right? So no need to focus much on that. But yeah, the things start from this, right? Then it goes to test planning, test strategy, where tools to use the resource, like who will be working, budget, right? Environment, where we will be working, that is what environment, which protocol we will be using. Generally HTTP protocol will be there for all, right? All these things will be decided, correct? Then come the next phase. So these two are not that much important. uh, Next phase is important, which is test design or test scripting. It's not phase, it's a step. Okay, no need to worry about this much in complex. Just these are few steps that needs to be followed, just that's it. Okay, so do not worry, like it's a very big thing, whole process will be known. Sometimes a single person is doing this stuff. Okay. So test phase 3 or step 3 is where the main thing start, where we use the tool, right? Whatever tool, it's a JMeter, load or anyone, and we do the test design or test scripting, correct? And in that also there are few steps, correct? So, or you can say this is the main page where tool is used, in this page and the next page. Okay, the load testing phase, there the tool is used, right? Then after that we have analysis and benchmarking of the results, like that recommendation, rerunning the test. So only here and here main the use of tool is there. So in phase 3, again few steps are there, like identification and documentation of business or test scenario. Okay, now this scenario, I'll tell what a scenario means.
Yeah,
This
Vallabh,
scenario has
what is the baseline and benchmark here?
baseline when running the first test, when the first results gets um, captured. Okay, that is called baselines tests. Benchmarking, comparing with other results. Okay, other already existing results. So we will see them again. So test scenarios. Okay, this scenario has many names. Like business scenario, they call test scenario. They can call. Sometimes they call it as business flow, user journey, or user story. Right? It has many names. Everything is same. That's why I have written it. So anyone use this word, it has the same meaning, right? And the transaction are actually user action, okay, or test steps. Fine. Along with critical scenarios, feasible and non-feasible scenario. So first we'll understand this. Then after that, recording is there, enhancement, and all those things goes. So let us start with this one. So what is a business scenario? So suppose we'll take an example of e-commerce site, right? So very famous scenario on the e-commerce website is like buying a product. Okay, everyone uses that. Any e-commerce, Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon. So suppose if you are booking a product or buying a product, so whatever the steps that you will be doing, right? So we see there is no specific rule of naming a scenario. We just give a common name, right? So do not worry what will be the name for that. No, it's not like that. A general term we give to a set of transaction or set of user action that we do on a application, right? So product booking is very famous for any e-commerce. So in that, so that we can call it as a common name or one single name, product booking. Okay, or buying a product scenario. Now in that, what we do, there are some steps, right? So first, like home page launch, then search a product, then add it to cart, then log in, then check out. All these things are there, right, from end to end. So that will be called the transaction or user action, right? So I'll show you on, let us say we'll take on stuff Flipkart. So suppose you want to book a product on a Flipkart, right? So what we will do, or Amazon, anyone, right? So we will first launch it, right? So those are the steps. Those will be called as a steps or user action. So first user action will be Flipkart. You are launching it, right? Then okay. Now here, whatever what you want, anything. Suppose one laptop you want to search. Okay, let us search. So that is next step, right? You want to buy a laptop. So you will search a laptop and hit the enter button. So that is what next step, next user action you did. And then you get so many laptop, whatever you decide. Suppose anyone you take, right? And then you choose that. Okay. And then you click on that, right? So that will be what the next user action, correct? Once we click on that, okay, then suppose you are okay to buy with this. So what you will do, you will click on buy now, right? So buy now is another user action. Then you will fill up the sign up details, then you will fill the delivery address, then order summary, then you will make the payment, and then done, correct? So you see these many steps are there, no? To do a simple scenario called buying a product, right? So you got the idea what a scenario means. Scenario is a common name for a general name for a set of user action that user does. So let us say he has to buy a product, so these many steps he has to do, right? From launching the page to search, add to cart, proceed, login, order summary, address, payments, logout, right? So like that, there can be many scenario on an application. Okay, there let us say canceling a product scenario will be there. You are registering a complaint, you are registering yourself on a website, you are writing a review. So like that we can call many scenarios. Okay, and whenever and whatever the steps that we do, steps that what I have shown, right? Launch, then you search it or you click on a product. So those steps or those user action, user is doing some action on the website, right? So that is called user action. So one user action, right? So the set of user action for doing that scenario are called transactions, okay, for that scenario. So scenario name can be one, but in that a set of steps will be there, a set of transactions will be there, okay, from a start to end to complete whole scenario, right? So like that on any application there will be many scenario. On banking you take or food booking app you take, right? You see like one simple scenario on bank will be like you are transferring a money to someone, then you are adding beneficiary, right? Like that, you are registering beneficiary, that is I said. Then UPI payments registration, all these thing will be there, right? Deleting beneficiary, uh, a statement download. Okay, so like that many scenario can happen over there. So that you got the idea, right? Same on e-commerce, so these are there. Then suppose if you want to add a product, you want to become a seller on Flipkart or Amazon, you will be adding your product, right? You will be deleting your product. So then there will be a set of actions or user actions to be done, right? Then suppose you want to be a seller, then admin people will be there who will be approving your registration, who will be approving your product on Flipkart, correct? Because Flipkart is a platform, no? Buyer and seller both are there. So like this is what an overview or example of a business scenario. And uh, um, yeah, or what we say business scenario, or we call it as a user journey or user story, right? Then Okay. Right. So coming to the next. So you got the idea, right? What is a business scenario and what are the transactions? The user action that we do to complete one scenario, those user actions are technically called as transactions. Okay, right. So I'll show you in more details. So we have to identify them and document them just for ourselves, for our benefit. So what happens generally? This is a diagram. You see, uh, one person. Let us say this is small stuff. This is how the things goes. Total one user session will be there from start to end to complete one scenario, right? A business scenario or business process we call, right? And let us say here home page launch, search, view, add to cart, login, and all those stuff. And whenever we do this activity, whenever the user is doing this activity, there are some calls, okay, requests, the request and the resources, okay, HTML, non-HTML resources that is being made to the server, right? The server. So that is what we are going to understand in next slide. Okay, right. So this is a overview diagram, right? You can see this is what a server is, and using a browser or any application, mobile app, whenever user does, this is how the things interact, right? So now we are going to understand the HTTP protocol, because HTTP protocol is the main protocol. It's a in general, it's a basic communication protocol or main communication protocol between a browser and the application, then mobile apps, web services. Web services like what? API, you must have heard of, and microservices. Okay, so that is what HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol has okay. HTTP protocol has a few schemas or components, right? So what those schemas are or component are? There are five: request, response, header, request method, and a status code. Okay, so let us understand this in detail. So we come here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a page. Fine. So understand on any website. Okay, whenever we do any activity means click. And see, at the end of day, if you understand very briefly or if you understand very minorly, whatever you do is a click. Okay, suppose you type laptop here and then you hit the enter button, that is a click only. Okay, that is in general it is a user action, user is doing something, but if you understand, it is a click. Okay, it's a enter or a click, right? Or you click on the search bar, click, or everything is at the end of day is click only. Okay, at the end of your activity, suppose you click here, click only, everything is click. You uploading your photo and then again click, right? Everything is a click or enter, or that is a user action, you can say. But these all the user action are at the end of day a click only. Okay, you are putting the address and then you are hitting the enter button, click only, right? Or enter, same thing. So what happens is whenever we do any activity on any application, anything on this web browser, at the end of the day it's a click only. Okay, any search, any add to cart, anywhere we do, it's a click. Now when it is a click, it generates a request to the server. Okay, so we are going to understand that. See, before that, see there is a tool, there is an option called dev tool in every browser. Developer tool. This is not working well. Dev tool. Okay, developer tool. A short form dev tool. You can access the dev tool by using F12 on any browser. Every browser has this. So let us say, suppose I have this Google Chrome, and if I press F12, that is also called as network tab. I must have heard of, right? See, if you press F12, this is how it comes. Okay, or you can bring it up by right clicking anywhere and just clicking on inspect. Inspect option will come. Just click on that and this comes up, this window. Okay, generally for first time people, everyone will be having this window downside. It will be like, it will be downside. Okay, like this. This is called dev tool, developer tool. Okay, and every browser has this, right? So what is a shortcut? Either you press F12, or if you right click on the page, any page, and then inspect option is there, right? Inspect, if you click on that, this comes up, right? uh, Generally I keep it on right hand side, so using these three dots in Mozilla Firefox, everywhere this is there. You can keep it on right hand side, right? Now it has some tab. Okay, so let me open Mozilla Firefox also, and also, so this is Mozilla Firefox, and right click, and here also inspect is there. So if you click on inspect, see this has came again. Generally first time it will be downside, but using three dots, I have a habit of keeping on right side. So this is there, and every browser has this, and they have some tabs. Okay, if you see, uh, like here element, so it's inspector, then here console, then here network tab is there. Network tab, performance, memory, right? They are there. Out of these, few tabs are very important. Okay, like network tab is very important. Element tab or inspector tab is also important. This console tab is important. And going forward, some other tabs are also important. Okay, but very important tab is this network tab, right? In network tab, we see all the activity that happens whenever we do any activity, right? So let it be Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. On both, let us say currently I have opened this network tab, and suppose, okay, I'll type here www.amazon.in. I'll type and I'll hit the enter button. So I'm hitting, whenever I'm hitting enter button, you'll see this stuff here going on, right? So out of this, there is a request. Okay, this is a request that is being made. The request is in form of a URL. URL. So if you click on this, you will see details. See, header tab. Some tab will open here. So this is request. Okay, you must have heard of request. Generally, request is in term of form URL only, which we saw over here also, right? But more details we get in here only, right? So let us say this is what www.amazon.in, which I'll just copy it and I'll keep it here. So which we hit actually, and this as a request went to the server. Okay, and server has sent me this response, which is this response, right, that we see over here. Same thing happened in Google Chrome also. You can okay, this is in Google Chrome, this is Mozilla Firefox. Here also if I do like this, so here also you can see here, right? See. So this is a request. Okay, Amazon.com, and it has a name also. There is a category in which you will be observing a name or initiator, which call it as a document, or in Google Chrome, what they call there, here also they call as a document. Fine. Okay. Now let us say we will do one more action. So here, like you can, this log, this is called log. Okay, log means what? Information. Okay, So I did homepage launch, and here something has happened in that one request. This was a main request. Okay, you can see here that went to the server. We observe that here also, right? Let me clear this. You can clear it using this. Now, suppose I am going to click anywhere. Again, click. Everything is click. See, okay, not an issue. So again, suppose I am going to click on this laptop. Logo is there, na, here in middle. So I am going to click. Again, when I will be clicking it, you will see one URL will be generated. Okay, see, one URL got generated, right? That same thing we can see over here. Here, see, this is tough. Okay, you see this, right? You can match also. Okay, so just copy this. Right. So you can use anyone, Mozilla Firefox. Everyone this happens. Like let us say here, this is Mozilla Firefox. Suppose I'm going to click on this. What this is then Sundrop Arial attached there. So I'll click on that. So again, you see one URL, right? It got generated, and that URL we see here, right? Here it is showing. This is the URL, right? It went as a request, right? This is what a request. I can note it down somewhere here, right? Then again, one more I'll do. Suppose I'll clear this. So at end of day, everything, whenever you do anything, you'll observe request will be generated. Okay. Suppose I want a HP laptop. So I'll click on this HP brand, right? See. So I clicked on that, and then you see again here one URL. Do not copy from here. We will check for that URL in this. So here this is that URL document type. You see document it's coming, and whenever you click on that, you will see that. Then you can match also this stuff. So this is the URL, right? And just copy that. So what I'm saying you guys is that whenever we do anything, a request gets generated in the form of URL. Okay, HTTP HTML request gets generated in the form of a URL. So remember, a user action or a transaction on a web application, right? This is what user action we are doing. Just a click. So, or technically it is called as a transaction. So it is going to generate a HTTP HTML request in the form of URL to the server. Okay, and in return, server sends us the response that we see, right? So again, suppose now here so many laptops are there. So I need whatever. Let us say this one. This one. Okay. So I'll click on this. I'll click on this. So again, okay, it has opened in new tab, not an issue. But you will see the URL is here. We'll check that. Okay. Then any further activity you do. One last I'll be doing. Let us say we will click on buy now or add to cart, right? So buy now. So we did buy now, and it went to sign in page, right? And you see that um, here sign in and coding. You see this is the URL, right? It is so big also sometime, right? But what our we should not bother about this, why it's big or small. What we have to understand is that whenever we are doing anything, you see URL is getting generated. Okay, that is what we have to understand. This URL is called HTTP HTML request. So whenever you do anything, any click, any selection, any choice selection, everything. Picture upload, submit, anything, right? Clicking on search bar, clicking on upload. If you observe that in network tab, you'll see a request is generated. That request is called HTTP HTML request. Okay. Now in this this stuff, you'll see this part. This is the main application name. Okay. Um, this is also called a server name or application name or domain name, right? Server name, application name, or domain name. Okay. This will be common if you see here. This is called protocol. This is what HTTPS protocol, right? Which shows over here. Okay. And then after this list, the things change depending on the user action. Like this was this stuff was there when we click on laptop. This stuff was there when we click on that aerial and other thing, right? Then again we click on some stuff, this got generated. Then we click on some stuff, this got generated. Then we clicked on add to cart or buy now. Then this got generated, right? This part. So this is part keep on changing depending on the user action we keep on doing, right? And this part is called path. Path. Okay. After this domain name or application name or server name, whatever the thing is there, that is called path. Okay. More detail of that is kept here, but no need to go in that much details. Protocol, then the layer, the domain name, and then this whole path is path. Okay, path. Okay. In that also segregation is there, but no need to worry about that. Now, so you got the idea. Now what happens is, see, whenever a request is generated, that request is in HTTP HTML form, and that request goes to the server. Okay, and the server sends us the response, right? Sends us this response. Okay, even on Mozilla Firefox, this response, right? This response is key. Now remember, understand, the response comes in code format. Okay, so if you go this tab, a request and then response tab, here you will see the in Google Chrome also, everywhere. Here you will see the code. Generally, response always comes in code format, right? You see, this is the code for this page. Okay, for this page. If you want to see that, you can see here. Right click anywhere and go to this here. Right click anywhere and go to image. It's not coming up. View page source option will be there. Here it's coming here. View page source. Somewhere, sometime on clicking on image directly not coming. Because your image are there, na? Some at blank as somewhere you just click and you see view page source. So if you click on that, the whole code for that page will be visible to you, right? This is code. Even it goes same for Google, like this Google. This is a home page of Google, right? It looks very simple, but if you click on view page source, this is how a complex code of Google looks. Okay, you see. This is very big. It's not very very small. It's very big. It's like this many. From if you scroll downside, and then it's very complex. Okay, so whenever we hit the google.co.in, the request will be going, and response always comes in this format. Okay, so even for here also. So this is the code, right? This is the code. This code, that is what we see in the response tab. This is the response. When this request goes and server sends us the response, and the response comes in code format. Okay, code format to us. Fine. Or this is also called as text format. Text. Text. Okay, text format. Once this response comes to us, okay, then browser processes this response, or you can say this is rendered. Okay, rendered. This code or this code is, or this text is rendered, and then we see this beautiful image. Okay. So again, I'll show just a second. Uh, just a second. Okay. So suppose I'll click anywhere, like suppose on this dry fruits and seed again. See, one request went right here. This is the request. Header tab, you can check. Wait. This is actually it's not showing properly. But it has what happened? It has broken up the stuff, like you see HTTP Amazon, then this slash s, then this bn, like that. It has broken the stuff. Let it be, right? Then so, and if you check the response here, just this, see the response tab. You see it's a, this is what it's coming, and that we see on left hand side also, right? But actually it comes because the browser has rendered it, that's why we see that. But if you click on raw, this is how it looks. Okay, code, right? So always understand that whenever response comes, that comes in code format, and it gets rendered, or this code gets processed by the browser. That is why we use the browser, that is the user browser, and then we see the beautiful page, the beautiful response. Okay, but indirectly the response is very dirty. It comes like this only. Okay, uh, this is everywhere here also. Suppose this is Google inspect network. I'll just send this Google request. I have just refreshed that. So this is Google, it went to server, and this is response. See, this is the response, right? This is the same thing which I showed you here. Okay, the code, this code came, and then browser, Google Chrome or Mozilla, any browser, whatever you are using, it will, and then you see this. Right, now next is whenever rendering happens, okay, understand there are some non-HTML resources along with that. So this the main request is called as HTTP HTML request, right? And with that there is a non-HTML resource, non-HTML request. This is the main request that will be made, which you see in the form of URL. Okay, the main URL, right? Apart from that, and you will see the response in return for that URL only. Okay, so what I'm saying is, like, this is the request, and response you'll see in return of that request only, in that tab. For this only you'll see, you'll not see anywhere in all those whatever this is in a you'll not see there in the main request. You will observe the response that comes in code form. Now when this comes from browser, from server to browser, browser renders that. In process of rendering, or it's called processing, right? Generally it is called rendering. We see this many stuffs happening, right? These stuffs are actually what they are called non-HTML resources, okay, or embedded resources. Fine. Okay, these are the JS file, CSS file, images will be there. So they are called embedded resources, embedded request, or non-HTML resources, or yeah, sub request also we can call them. In that, what are there? There will be uh, in that there will be like CSS file, JavaScript file, image or Windows videos. Okay, so you can see. Let us say here only. See, this is a small one. Just a second, I will do a fresh and then you'll observe how it looks. Suppose the first page I'll open. See, first page opening, and now you see the contents are getting loaded downside here. It should be very huge. I've just closed it. I'll just open again. It's not showing properly. That's why. Acha, okay. Why it's not showing here? I have here actually some tabs are there. Right. I have selected HTML and etc. That's why all are not showing. I'll just uncheck them, and we are in all, right? All. So when you see, so you see, right? So many things. So what happens is, if I just scroll above, this is the main request, Amazon.com. This is the response. The response is in code format. Here. The response is in code format, and when it gets rendered, we see the stuff here. You see, this all thing, image, right? Image is there. Then JS file are there, .js files, right? JS files. They are called script. Their type will be script. Then image PNGs. Then this is CSS file, style sheet files. Okay, style sheets, right? So many images are there. Why so many images? Because on this page so many images are there. So that's why you see the JPEG type there. You see image img. Okay, and in that fonts will be there. You can just see any image on this page. Suppose I hover on this image. I'll go to top this image or this image. Suppose this image, right? Name of that image is that one, and it's showing something Valentine Day gift, and that image is coming pink color. Where is that? On main page. Here it is. See, right? So see, it's there, right? So this is how it got rendered, and we see that, right? Over like that. Anywhere you will be whatever on any image if you click, you'll see all those all that image will be here somewhere. Okay, right? That is what processing, and all these stuffs are there in the main code. The main code which comes from the server side, let us say, which has came in the main request response, right? So here that one only, what was this one only, if what is the name of this, its name is this. Okay. See, this is the name of that image. This image which is getting bigger over here, and we see this, right? But if we go where, and if you go to the main code, this is the main code, and if I try to find it here using Control F, main this is the main request, right? And in response the code has came. So in this code, if we try to find, if we do Control F somewhere, and then I paste it here and I search, so you see here it's here. Right? So like that, any image, any CSS file, any JavaScript file, all those that you see here. What I did something. Acha. I click something and something. Okay, let it be. So so any image, okay, any all those images, so many are there. Why so many? Because on this page so many images will come, right? That's why we see these so many images. The Java, the CSS file I have shown you, the JavaScript file, the fonts will be there. WFF you'll observe somewhere. You see here the WFFs, right? Font, these are for fonts like this will be looking bigger, the smaller, all this stuff. So for all these things, all these stuffs are there where in the main code, which comes from the server side, right, as a response in this code. So that is why it's called these all stuff that you see over here, they are called embedded or non-HTML, because this is what HTML response. Okay, HTML response, that request which is going is HTTP HTML request, and the response which is coming is HTML response. And when it gets processed, this all thing in the process of rendering happen, and all the stuffs get called by browser, and you see this stuff. All these informations about the image, the CSS file, as just one example I've shown, all those are there in this main response, the main code which comes, right? Since all these are embedded here, or the information is here, that's why they are called embedded resources or non-HTML resources, right? Now in them, what will be there? As I have shown, JPEG, all images will be there, fonts will be there, icons will be there, right? CSS and JavaScript files will be there. The CSS file makes the website beautiful, like layout and other thing. CSS files are responsible for that. Okay, the layout, the design, right? Full form is cascading style sheet. And then there will be JavaScript files will be there. JavaScript files do the conditional checks on a web page. Okay, so what is the meaning? They JavaScript files, .js file, they do many things, not only that only, but they have a many their type. If you see, there will be script, and you can check your .js. This is .css, right? So do not get confused by looking at this, that do we have to study this? No, not like that. Just understand concept.
Yeah, sir. Hello. Yeah, sir. I have a question here. So while
Hmm.
doing performance testing, will we include these embedded resources or not?
मैं बताऊंगा, I'll tell everything, huh? Slowly, right? So do not worry. Now, so you got the idea why images are there, why fonts are there, right? Why CSS files are there for the layout, why JavaScripts are there. We don't have to go in much detail, because JavaScript files are they do many things. But one simple example I'll tell you. Okay, one Java. See, come here, and I'll go to the Flipkart page. We'll see one example. See, this is Flipkart, and okay, right? See, here also same thing has happened. This happens for every website, not only for Flipkart, even Google, uh, everywhere. This thing happens. Google is a small page, so there are those things that you will not see that many, because it's simple. So one, two images you will observe some. See here also, right? Very simple page. So not that many are there, but yeah, style sheets are there. PNG, some PNGs are there. More will be um, JavaScripts and CSS. Not that many, right? Because simple page. These are huge page, so that's why you see this many. Um, here so many are there, because their content are very, image and all things. They are full of that. Now, next thing, what a or you and one more thing, if you want to filter out, your tabs will be there, right? Suppose you want to filter only JavaScript, only CSS. For that page, you can just click on that, the image, the media, the fonts. It will be only with that part will be displayed. If you click on all, everything will be displayed, right? So I think this is there in this option is there in Chrome also. We have to bring it in Google. This is Mozilla Firefox. Here it comes by default. Fine. Next, what we are going to understand is what JavaScript file does. Okay. So, okay, what I'm going to do is, see, currently I'm not doing anything on this website. Okay, but still you see some calls being made here. Right? So do not worry about them. What we should understand, or what our focus should be, that whenever you do some activity, you observe the request being made here. Okay, that is what. But whenever sometime you'll see, suppose I'm not doing anything, still you see these calls, we do not have to worry about them. Why? Because you see these are automatically being made. So they since these websites are live, no? Live means in use. Okay, so what happens that some calls gets automatically made to the server. They checks the status of user. They take some your inputs also, cookie data. You must have heard, like uh, Google is reading everything, right? The server is reading everything. This is how they read. Right? They take the information from you to the server without your knowledge. So you see these calls are so many being made. So we do not have to worry about them, right? You see, I'm not doing anything, even those these you see, and they are repeated. You see this business, this request again. This is being made here, right? So it happens. Okay. So do not worry about it. What we have to focus is on the main request. Whenever we do something here, the main request will be generated and the required response. That main request will have the response in that. Okay. So you ignore that, these calls. Now I'm going to click on login here. So you'll observe a call will be made here. So you see on top, this call has been made, login call, and we got the response also. You see, it looks like something what it's rendered, right? You can match also, like here, this is there, and the code actually, you see, if I click here, this is the code for this page what has been displayed, right? Now I'm going to do one thing. I'm just going to it's asking to enter a mobile number or email ID, right? So I'm going to enter a wrong mobile number. Wrong means 9 digit, right? And you will observe a message coming here. Fine. But meanwhile, as I said, here some calls are being made. You see repeated call, ignore them. I'm not doing anything, but these calls will be made. We have to ignore them. We do not have to worry about. What we have to worry is whenever we do anything, that time related request what went, that we have to worry, right? That we have to focus on. So this ignore, this keeps on making. So let me enter here any 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9 I have entered, huh? And I will I have cleared this, and I am going to click on request OTP. You see nothing happened here, and this message has came. How this message has came? Okay, here nothing happened, and no, when I clicked on request OTP, no request was made. So these many things we have to understand, right? No request was made. No request means nothing happened. Means nothing went to the server. No request made to the server. So if nothing went to the server, then from where this message came? How this message came? Server didn't send because request was not made. So this message has not came from the server side. Okay. So this some activity is there which is done on user side. That is called client side. Okay, user side. You will observe some activity that is being done here, and those activity will not put any stress on or any load on the server, because you will not see any request being made, right? So this is from where the JavaScript comes in. This is one example I am going to show you, that for that page JavaScript was there. The response that came for this page, na, I shown you in that JavaScript file was there. Those that checked that. Okay, before sending the request, the JavaScript check that whether the user has entered a valid mobile number or not. So this is one example that what I wanted to show you what JavaScript does. JavaScript. There are so many files are there, CSS file, image, JavaScript. So all the logical functionality on the user side, the JavaScript files does, right? So this is one what example is. Without making call, this information has came. General people will think, oh, server has sent me. No, server is not sent. Uh, no request was made. Already this thing was there in the previous when I clicked on this, so this whole response came, right? In that only JavaScript file they checked it before making. Now if you see, I'll correct this mobile number and I'll just click on request OTP now. So now you'll observe one request will made. See, proper request here, post request. You see uh, request, right? In request payload, you see the number, phone number also went. See. So this payload and other thing will understand slowly. Okay. But yeah, a proper request made. This time no a message also went. And uh, a response also came from server side that is saying that this user was not registered. A message was has appeared here if you have observed. You checked that okay, the user is not registered, try to register it. So all it is a proper activity with the server, right? Fine. So like that one. Again, if I just delete that number and again if I click on just a second, let me again again some invalid number again I'll do. And I'll click on request OTP. You see nothing is happening here and this message, right? So that is what JavaScript files does on a website, right? Now all these combinations of CSS file, JavaScript files, the image that we see that uh, that are called as non-HTML resources or embedded resources. Why? Because they are embedded in the response. Okay, the response which server sends to us, the code, right, the text, in that only they are embedded. And while this response comes to us to the browser renders them, and then we see them in the network tab get loaded, and after all processing we see that full page getting uh, visible to us, right? So this is what a request and response concept is. Now in this only we have headers, then method and a status code. So we'll understand them. Okay, so like that, how many transaction you will be doing, right? That many requests will be made. That is what I kept here, right? You remember we launched, then we clicked on laptop, we clicked on some aerial, we clicked on one of the laptop, then we clicked on. So that many transaction or user action are we are doing, that many main requests being made. And whenever the request is made, the response comes, and every time you will observe the rendering happening, right? The activities happening. Next. So that is what request and response. Request goes, response comes. Request goes in a HTTP HTML form, URL. Response comes in code format. Okay. Now request and response is divided into two parts, right? Request body and request header, response body and response header. Okay. So I think we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, we'll continue. Header and then we'll understand transaction, then cookies, user session, right? This is important. Okay. So any doubt?
Pandu.
Huh? Okay then.
Sir, there is a class tomorrow.